If you only have $3,000 to spend on a vehicle, you are standing in the most dangerous financial minefield of your entire life. You do not have the luxury of making a mistake. If you buy the wrong car in this price bracket, you are mathematically guaranteed to go bankrupt repairing it. Every single day, hardworking people take their last $3,000 and buy a heavily abused, high-mileage sedan only to watch the transmission violently rip itself apart 2 weeks later. You are being actively hunted by predatory dealerships and scam artist car flippers who prey on the fact that you desperately need cheap transportation. You might think the safe bet is to buy an old Honda Civic or a Toyota Corolla. You are completely wrong. Because everybody on the planet wants those exact two cars, the prices are artificially hyperinflated. A $3,000 Toyota Corolla today is a rusted-out shell with 250,000 miles on it. You are paying a massive popularity tax for a badge that has already been driven into the ground. If you want to survive the budget car market, you have to buy the ghosts. I am talking about deeply forgotten, completely invisible cars that the average consumer walks right past. I have excavated the global auction data, cross-referenced the raw engine schematics, and isolated 4 $3,000 mechanical fortresses that will simply never break down. And I promise you, car number 4 on this list is a corporate disguise so perfectly executed, it will save you $10,000 over the next 5 years. Do not click away because what you learn today will save you from absolute financial ruin. Let's get to work. Number 1, the reputation casualty. The 2008 to 2011 Ford Focus. Pay extremely close attention to the specific years on this vehicle, because if you get it wrong, it will destroy your bank account. In 2012, Ford introduced the third-generation Focus, equipped with the catastrophic DPS6 dual-clutch power-shift transmission. That transmission resulted in massive class-action lawsuits because it violently shuddered, slipped, and completely failed on the highway. Because of that disaster, the entire Ford Focus nameplate became incredibly toxic. The average car buyer runs away from any Ford Focus because they assume they are all garbage. Their lack of automotive knowledge is your absolute financial victory. The previous generation, the 2008 to 2011 Ford Focus, was built before that transmission ever existed. This specific generation of the Focus uses the 4F27E traditional 4-speed hydraulic automatic. There are no delicate dual clutches. There are no fragile electronics. It is a wildly overbuilt, bullet-resistant transmission that shifts flawlessly. Under the hood, it gets even better. This Focus is powered by the 2.0-liter Duratec 4-cylinder. Ford did not design this engine alone. This is fundamentally the Mazda L engine architecture. It utilizes a heavy-duty, maintenance-free timing chain instead of a rubber timing belt. It uses old-school multi-port fuel injection, which means it completely bypasses the thick carbon buildup issues that choke modern direct-injected engines to death. Because the general public is terrified of the Ford Focus badge, the resale value is permanently pinned to the floor. You can effortlessly buy a 2010 Ford Focus with a flawless interior, power windows, and ice-cold air conditioning for exactly $3,000. You are getting Mazda-level reliability for the price of a broken golf cart. Number 2, the forgotten Japanese egg. The 2004 to 2006 Scion XA. Back in the early 2000s, Toyota created the Scion brand to try and capture the teenage demographic. The most famous car from this brand was the Scion XB, the one that looks like a boxy refrigerator. Because the XB became a massive cult classic, the used prices for it skyrocketed. But Toyota released a second car right alongside it, the Scion XA. It has a bubbly, strange, egg-like shape, and it was a complete sales failure in North America. The mainstream market rejected the styling, and the car faded into total obscurity. But underneath that strange sheet metal, this car is an absolute mechanical masterpiece. The Scion XA is a 100% direct rebadge of the Toyota Ist, a legendary subcompact car sold in Japan, the UK, and Australia. When you open the hood of the Scion XA, you are staring directly at the 1.5-liter 1NZ FE 4-cylinder. In the engineering world, this specific motor is a holy grail. It is the exact same unkillable engine Toyota used in the legendary Toyota Yaris and the original Prius. It features an aluminum block with cast iron cylinder liners, forged steel connecting rods, and a timing chain that will easily outlast the chassis it sits in. Because the entire car only weighs 2,300 pounds, the engine is completely unstressed. It never works hard, which means your brakes, your tires, and your suspension components will easily last 80,000 miles without needing replacement. It gets 35 miles to the highway, and because nobody searches for the dead Scion brand, it is completely shielded from the Toyota popularity tax. You can buy an indestructible Japanese-built Toyota for $3,000 simply because it has a Scion badge on the steering wheel. Number 3. The pre-crisis Korean iron block. The 2006 to 2011 Kia Rio. If you are watching this from Australia or the UK, this exact vehicle is globally recognized as the Kia Cerato, or the Pride. But in North America, people are completely terrified of the Kia badge. And honestly, they should be. Modern Hyundai and Kia vehicles equipped with the Theta 2 and new engines are notorious for catastrophic rod knock, massive oil consumption, and spontaneous engine fires. Because of these modern engineering disasters, the Kelley Blue Book value of every single Kia on the used market has crashed into the basement. But you must use the automotive timeline to your strict advantage. The 2006 to 2011 Kia Rio, known internally as the JB generation, was engineered years before Kia started experimenting with fragile gasoline direct injection. You are looking for the Kia Rio equipped with the 1.6-liter Alpha 2 engine, specifically the G4ED block code. In the mechanic community, the Alpha 2 is an undisputed powerhouse. It uses a heavy cast iron engine block. It utilizes traditional multi-port fuel injection, meaning gasoline constantly washes over the intake valves, keeping them permanently spotless and running perfectly. There are no microscopic turbochargers to blow up, and it uses a heavy-duty 4-speed planetary automatic transmission. The only strict maintenance requirement for this entire vehicle is replacing the timing belt every 60,000 miles. If you do that one single piece of routine maintenance, this cast iron block will completely outlast the sheet metal surrounding it. Because modern Kias have such a toxic reputation, this older, genuinely reliable model gets dragged down to the bottom of the pricing barrel. You can easily negotiate a flawless Kia Rio down to $3,000. You are getting a rock-solid commuter car entirely shielded from inflation. Listen to me very carefully right now before I reveal the final vehicle. You only have $3,000. You cannot afford to make a single mistake. If you buy a car with a secretly blown transmission today, you are walking to work on Monday. Right now, illegal car flippers and scammers are literally pulling the instrument clusters out of cheap cars. They take a pair of pliers and physically crush the check engine bulb on the circuit board. You start the car, the dashboard looks pristine, and you hand over your last $3,000, completely blind to the catastrophic engine failure codes secretly hidden deep inside the vehicle's computer. 2 days later, your new car violently locks into neutral on the highway and you are financially ruined. If you do not know how to catch this, you will lose your entire savings. I refuse to let that happen to you. Do not hand over a single dollar to any seller without performing the 60-second instrument cluster fraud test. I put the exact button combinations and diagnostic protocols to expose these scammers on page 17 of my anti-scam vehicle blueprint. A blown transmission cost $3,500. This blueprint cost $47. It is the ultimate shield against financial ruin. Scan the QR code on your screen right now or click the link at the very top of the description. Buy the book right now. If If you skip this, you will regret it for the rest of your life the second your car leaves you stranded on the side of the highway. Protect your money before your next test drive. Let's get back to the list. Number 4, the ultimate corporate disguise, the 1993 to 1997 Geo Prism. If you want a Toyota Corolla but you only have $3,000, you are going to end up buying a rusted-out, high-mileage nightmare. The demand for Corollas is so astronomical that dealerships will charge you $5,000 for a car that barely runs. But you can completely bypass that system. You are going to search for the Geo Prism. I know what you're thinking. A Geo from the 1990s? That is going to fall apart in my driveway. That is exactly what every other uneducated buyer thinks, which is why the price is so unbelievably low. But the Geo Prism is not an American car. General Motors did not engineer a single bolt on this vehicle. Back in the 90s, GM and Toyota entered into a historic joint venture manufacturing agreement at the NUMMI plant in California. The Geo Prism was built on the exact same assembly line by the exact same robotic arms using the exact same Japanese parts as the legendary AE100 generation Toyota Corolla. It is 100% a Toyota Corolla. In Australia, you might know it as the Holden Nova. The only difference between these cars is the piece of plastic on the front grille and the emblem on the steering wheel. When you open the hood of the Geo Prism, you are staring at the legendary 1.6-liter 4AFE or 1.8-liter 7AFE cast iron 4-cylinder engine. These are undisputed million-mile motors. They are globally famous for never burning a single drop of oil and crossing 400,000 miles with nothing but basic fluid changes. It is paired with a bulletproof Toyota automatic transmission and unbreakable Toyota suspension components. If you search for a 1996 Toyota Corolla, the seller will demand $5,000. If you search for a 1996 Geo Prism, the seller will ask for $3,000, and you can easily negotiate them down to $2,500. You are buying the exact same legendary Japanese reliability, the exact same fuel economy, and the exact same ironclad engineering, but you are getting a 50% discount simply because the car has a dead, forgotten badge on it. It is the greatest financial loophole in the entire used car market. You do not need to plunge yourself into high-interest debt just to get to work. The automotive industry wants you to believe that a $3,000 car is a guaranteed breakdown, simply so they can force you into a massive car loan. The Pre-Powershift Ford Focus, the Scion XA, the cast-iron Kia Rio, and the disguised Geo Prism are undeniable mathematical proof that pure, unyielding mechanical engineering already exists on the used market. If you ignore the badges, bypass the popularity tax, and focus strictly on the raw engine and transmission codes, you can secure a vehicle that will outlast the fragile plastic crossovers being sold today.